Good morning. You guys, let go of the promises you've outgrown. Good morning, viewers, wherever you are. And good morning, Julia. And I saw Sabrina, maybe? Nina. The combination today is vetiver. And good morning, Sabrina. And Northern Lights Black Spruce. 1 drop Northern Lights Black Spruce. 1 drop vetiver. Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it's awesome. Oh, my. And, okay. Let go of the promises that you've outgrown. That's family stories. That's agreements you entered into. Things that it's time to let go of. Hello! Oh, it smells amazing. It smells amazing. You guys. Vetiver and Northern Lights Black Spruce, I can't even tell you. It says, here, I'll let you screenshot it. Hi, Erin and Linda and Julia and, whoops, hold on. Let go of the promises that you've outgrown. Crisp and fresh and focus, Northern Lights Black Spruce and vetiver together. Family stories. If you have a family alliance story like our family always did it this way, those are stories often we need to let go of. Done. If you have a family story that says you have to wear high heels to social events, you can let that go. Me too. Cooties. Oh, you guys. Oh, man, I take my glasses off for 2 seconds and I can't see. Hello, Holly. All right. I'm a little behind today on this because I've been super creative this morning. So that can happen. That's why you shouldn't be too upset about downswings in your mood. Sometimes a downswing in your mood is prepping you, growing things creatively to then burst into creativity. So I told you yesterday I had 4 days of very low energy, couldn't stay awake, super grumpy, and I just rested. Rest. Yeah, and then starting yesterday, I started to get my creativity. Some new ideas came. Yeah, so I had some things I needed solutions for, and I couldn't think of how to do it. So I just rested, and then this morning, boom, I got the idea. It's done. Took me about 15 minutes. It's for my level 2 desire map people. So you guys will have a diagram about goal setting. Hi, Henry. Interrupting how? You didn't interrupt anything? Good morning. You didn't interrupt nothing. People on here talk their heads off to each other. These guys are always talking. Talk. Really, like... So this is what she's talking about in Big Magic. Okay, this is what we're talking about, the creative process. Honoring the cycles and rhythms. Honoring your own personal cycles and rhythms. As you can see, it's a talkative group. I just talk, and they talk, we all talk. Creativity ebbs and flows, just like the weather. Some days it's there, some days it's not. You keep showing up for it every day, and then you really run with it when it's present, and when it's not, you rest. Rest, create, rest, create. You can't create nonstop. You can't rest nonstop. Respect the cycle, yo. Respect the cycle of creativity. My eyes are super blurry. Okay, so we're on Funhouse Mirrors. We're in the section called Permission, and we're on the chapter, page 122. I'm actually going back one. I think Ben made that. Ben Moore, Tanya's husband. Thanks for the shares and the hearts, you guys. Yeah, Dow, we talk about Henry, we talk about the Tao. We read it on alternate days. So yesterday was the Tao and Byron Katie, 2 translations. And then tomorrow we talk about the Tao again, and then we go back to Big Magic. We're bouncing back and forth. Oh, Michelle found it. Okay. Oh, yeah, okay. That's where we got that from. Funhouse Mirrors from the book Big Magic. Ready? Here we go. Oh, letting go of the promises that you've outgrown will open up that flow of creativity. It will allow you to feel things you may not have felt before. Family stories and alliances and promises you've made to people that you've outgrown inhibit your creativity a lot. I love Minnesota. I'm not in Minnesota. I'm in Georgia. They do really like Minnesota a lot. Okay, Funhouse Mirrors. I once wrote a book that accidentally became a giant bestseller. And for a few years there, it was like I was living in a hall of funhouse mirrors, okay? It was never my intention to write a giant bestseller, believe me. I wouldn't know how to write a giant bestseller if I tried. Case in point, I've published 6 books, all written with equal passion and effort, and 5 of them were decidedly not bestsellers. I certainly didn't feel as I was writing Eat, Pray, Love that I was producing the greatest or most important work of my life. I knew only that it was a departure for me to write something so personal, and I figured people might mock it for being so terribly earnest. But I wrote that book anyhow because I needed to write it for my own intimate purposes, and also because I was curious to see if I could convey my emotional experiences adequately on paper. It never occurred to me that my own thoughts and feelings might intersect so intensely with the thoughts and feelings of so many other people. So she wrote Eat, Pray, Love for herself. She was honoring her own process, her own creative impulse, with no thought of where it was going to go. She had no idea it would be a bestseller. She wasn't even thinking along those lines. She was exploring a concept. Hey, I had all these cool emotional experiences. I wonder if I can express that on paper. I wonder if I can share this with the world through words. That's a way different motivation than, I wonder if I can write a best-selling novel and be rich. I'll tell you how oblivious I was during the writing of that book. Honoring. Right. During the course of my Eat, Pray, Love travels, I fell in love with that Brazilian man named Felipe, to whom I am now married, and at one point, shortly into our courtship, I asked him if he felt comfortable with my writing about him in my memoir, and he said, well, it depends. What's at stake? And I replied, nothing. Trust me, nobody reads my books. That's what she thought. She's like, we're not risking anything. Nobody reads my work. And then, boom, over 12 million people ended up reading that book. And because so many people read it, and because so many people disagreed about it, somewhere along the way, Eat, Pray, Love stopped being a book per se, and it became something else. A huge screen upon which millions of people projected their most intense emotions. These emotions ranged from absolute hatred to blind adulation. I got letters saying, I detest everything about you. And I got letters saying, you have written my Bible. That's why you can't attach to the outcome. That's why you absolutely cannot worry about where it's going or what other people's opinions are. Some people really blasted her, and some people put her up on a pedestal. Neither one. You don't want either one of those reactions. But you have no control over that. Yeah. So what she says about her book became a screen for other people's projections. That's what we were talking about yesterday, where we project our stories onto other people, and it gives us information if we're aware. Yeah, if we're aware of it, our projections onto other people help inform us of where we're at and where we're coming from and what we need to work on. If we're not aware of it, then we're making that other person responsible for how we feel, and that's not fair. It's also not very effective. Imagine if I'd tried to create a definition of myself based on any of those reactions. I didn't. And that's the only reason Eat, Pray, Love didn't throw me off my path as a writer, because of my deep and long life conviction that the results of my work, don't have much to do with me. I can only be in charge of producing the work itself. Stephen Pressfield talks about that a lot in War of Art and Turning Pro. We say this all the time. It's your job to create the work, not to worry about where it goes after it's created. Your job is to listen for the creative impulse and then follow it fast. Okay. I refuse to take on additional jobs, such as trying to police what anybody thinks about my work once it leaves my desk. Also, I realized it would be unreasonable and immature of me to expect that I should be allowed to have a voice of expression, but that other people should not. If I am allowed to speak my inner truth, then my critics are allowed to speak their inner truth as well. Fair's fair. If you dare to create something and put it out there, after all, then it may accidentally stir up a response. That's the natural order of life, the eternal inhale and exhale of action and reaction. Each one equally valid. The inhalation is as valid as the exhalation. There is no good or bad. It's just in and out. It's just ebb and flow, up and down. It's just energy flowing in this direction or that. It's not good or bad. You're definitely not in charge of the reaction, even when the reaction is flat out bizarre. One day, for instance, a woman came up to me at a book signing and said, "Eat, Pray, Love changed my life. You inspired me to leave my marriage and set myself free. It was all because of that one moment in your book, that moment when you describe putting a restraining order on your ex-husband because you'd had enough of his violence and you weren't going to tolerate it anymore." A restraining order? Violence? That never happened. Not in my book, not in my actual life. You can't even read that narrative between the lines of my memoir because it's so far from the truth. But that woman had subconsciously inserted that story, her own story, into my memoir because I suppose she needed to. It may have been easier for her somehow to believe that her burst of resolve and strength had come from me and not from herself. That's what happens when you hero worship. When you hero worship, you are saying that that person has the power and I don't. You're making yourself less than. So what you admire in others is present in yourself. You may not have activated it yet. Good morning. But it's there. If you see something, yes, a conduit. If you see something you like in other people, it's there for you too. So you don't need to say, well, Elizabeth Gilbert has power, but I don't. Oprah has power, but I don't. She can do that, but I can't. That's absurd, and that's really limited, really limiting your, like we feel about movie stars. Movie stars are just people too. They're full of insecurities just like we are. They just happen to be more visible to us. Whatever her emotional motive, though, she had embroidered herself into my story and erased my actual narrative in the process. Strange as it seems, I submit that it was her absolute right to do this. I submit that this woman had the God-given right to misread my book however she wants to misread it. Once my book entered her hands, everything about it belonged to her and never again to me. Once your creation is out of your hands and out there in the world, it's no longer, I don't know that it ever really belongs to us, but it really doesn't belong to you once it's out there in the world. Everyone who sees a piece of my art sees it differently. Everyone who reads any of my writing reads it differently and gets something different out of it. That's the fascinating part. Some people can be really offended, and some people can be really inspired. It really doesn't have anything to do with me. It's a hard one. It's taken a lot of practice. Well, it's the same with Reiki, don't you think? You have to express, you have to make the space for Reiki, and you're a conduit for that energy, and it comes through you, but it's up to the person receiving it how they use it. Sometimes they take it, sometimes they don't. My Reiki sessions come with a lot of intuitive information. I don't always give it, unless that's specifically what a person is asking for. Sometimes it's not appropriate, and I know it in my gut when it isn't, and when it is. So, yeah, so I just do. Yeah, we set the space, and we stand back, and hey, Dawn. Hey, Catherine Ann. Thank you. I think of it as yeah, some people reject it. We're offering. We offer. How are you? That's all we can do. Hey, Babs. We offer. Other people can take or not take. That's up to them. If we try to give Reiki, we're imposing on other people. Go get your Reiki on. Hey, how are you? So nice to see you. Yeah, they're not ready to receive it yet. They've still got some information they can gain from it. We hang on to our blocks as long as we need them. The nice thing about Reiki is if you're ready to release it and you just need a little boost, it can help. It can help ease the way. It can help you relax enough to allow your own power and your own body to do the work that it intuitively knows needs to be done. A Reiki practitioner is just opening that possibility. That's how I see it. I'm opening the possibility. Oh, dogs love Reiki. Cats love Reiki too. And also on that note, if you have an animal that seems to be rejecting Reiki, you just create the space and let the animal come in and come out. Sometimes it feels too weird for them. Yeah, so you just hold the bubble. Yeah, some dogs are like, I'm already there, yo. I'm already at peace. Whatever. I don't need your Reiki. Anyway, it's the same in my mind. We make the offering, and then other people can have it or not. Okay. Recognizing this reality, and this is important, that the reaction doesn't belong to you. Yeah, some pets are annoyed by it because they're already there. If you're trying to send it to them, you don't send anything. You just create the space. And then what I've noticed is the cats will come in and then they'll go away. And then they'll come in closer to me and then they'll go away. They come and go. They come in and out of it. You have to give them the choice. Okay, recognizing this reality that the reaction doesn't belong to you is the only sane way to create. If people enjoy what you've created, terrific. If people ignore what you've created, that's too bad. If people misunderstand what you've created, don't sweat it. And what if people absolutely hate what you've created? What if people attack you with savage vitriol and insult your intelligence and malign your motives? Yeah. And drag your good name through the mud? Here's what you do. You just smile sweetly and suggest as politely as you possibly can that they go make their own fucking art. And then you stubbornly continue making yours. Someone insults you, tell them to go do it themselves. If they insult you because you're using a tool, are they doing it? Right. Word. Are they doing it? If you're out there doing it and it's the man in the arena thing from Theodore Roosevelt. Yes. Yeah, like you're out there doing it. You're out there doing what they're afraid to do. And some people will attack you for that. Some people will give you the, who do you think you are? Well, who do you think you are? At least I'm out here doing it. I'm taking the risk of the insults. Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah. Yeah. Sometimes people are afraid of your courage if you're making things and putting them out in the world. It scares people sometimes because they would like to do that too, but they can't own it yet. There's more where I came from. If you don't like what I do. That's funny. Yeah, offering the info, offering the art, offering the writing. Yeah, the more power you express, yeah, the more power, personal power you express, and the more fearlessness you express, people can get really triggered by that. Yes, they want it, they don't think they can have it, so then they hate you for it. People tend to criticize what they actually want for themselves. And you can use that for information for yourself. If you criticize a particular thing, it may be something that you want for yourself. Yeah, we have to model it. We have to model whatever gifts we have. Some people will be inspired to reach for it themselves. Some people will be jealous and use it as an excuse not to grow. Whatever people do with it, it's not our business. Our business is to create. Our business is to offer. Their business is to react however they react. Right. That's true. Men do. Well-behaved people don't make history. Well-behaved people don't live authentic lives and satisfying lives. Those are the people who are 80 and have so many regrets. If I have to make a decision about a direction, what measure do I use for determining whether you have an adverse effect on someone? They'll usually let me know. Sometimes, Julia, sometimes it's just a feeling I get that people don't like it. Sometimes people will be... I try not to think about it too much. If I'm truly not resonating with their energy, I try not to even go there. Like, I try not to even think, how is this person reacting to me? Right. Yeah. Yes. Receive what they get, not what they think it should be instead. If I feel if I'm offering Reiki, then my intention and my practice is that I'm staying connected to that energy and I'm doing it primarily in myself and spreading it out. And I can have 3 or 4 or more people, yeah, and they'll either energetically take it or not. And I can feel it if they're taking it in or not. It feels like a pulling. But if they're not taking it in, I don't think about it. I don't worry about it. I don't consider it. I just may make a note of it, like, hey, some energy seemed to be bouncing off of you in this area. Something to consider for you. I might not say anything. It depends. I know if people don't like my writing, sometimes they just flat out tell me. Or my art. Sometimes they just say, I don't like that. I don't like black and white. Here's what I hear a lot. Why don't you work in color? I like black and white. That's why I work in black and white. Yeah. Yes, it's like holding out the dessert tray. Do you want a cheesecake or a lemon meringue or a cookie? Take what you want. If you don't take, that's okay. It's just offering. Ashley Judd. Yeah. You know, but you know, but you know. Yeah. So that's how I do that. Yes, people can get really mad when you make your own decisions. I took a lot of heat and actually lost a couple of friendships when I stepped out into my own power. There were a couple of people who really were so uncomfortable with it that they exited stage right. Yeah. And I was kind of surprised by that, and I was hurt by that at the time. And then later I realized that when you move into a different energy, like you said, Julia, some people resonate with it, some people don't. So they come in closer or they move away, and it's okay. It's ultimately okay. I would rather have that different path than the friendships. Yes, some people just disappear. Growth, yeah, and others come in to fill the gap. Yeah. So the point is always following your own bliss. The point is letting go of whatever stories you have that are keeping you, whatever stories that are keeping you caught up in fear of disapproval or seeking approval of other people. It's time to let that go. Yeah, your energetic frequency changes, and then some people literally can't handle it. Thanks for the share and the hearts and stuff. It's that radio dial thing we talked about yesterday. You can't hear what's on all the radio stations, just one at a time. And if I change my radio station, some people can no longer hear me. And that's okay. They'll stay tuned into their radio station. And then I'll find other people who can hear me. And the point is not to worry about that. Don't worry about it. Don't give it a lot of energy. Always checking in with yourself. What's true from my heart today? What's true in my gut today? What's in line with what I need? Bottom feeders. I like TD Jakes. He's so funny. I had a therapist once who compared it to the difference between mountain people and valley people. Yeah, yes, there's resistance there, and we can reflect that to people. She said most average people are in the valley. They live in the valleys. Other people want the view from the top of the mountain, so they start climbing. As they climb, the distance between them and the people in the valley gets larger. And because there's fewer people who seek the view from the top of the mountain, it can be a little bit lonely until you get to the top and you find out there's people there. And you tend to communicate from a distance sometimes. You may find that people you really connect to don't always live in your immediate geographical area. We're talking from mountaintop to mountaintop. We're shouting across the valley to each other. Yes, a giraffe can reach and eat from the top of the mountain, and while others are eating off the ground. Yeah. Yes, Periscope has been a lifesaver for a lot of us. Yeah, so it helps us connect to each other regardless of our geographical distance and support each other and, hold that space for our own growth and comfort that we're not alone, and we can remind each other of the truth of our own power, and we can remind each other that it's our job to create, not to worry about where it goes after that. Just to be the conduit, just to make the offering, and where it goes after that's not our business. Take a deep breath if you haven't done any deep breathing today. Take a big deep breath, hold for a second, and relax. Just release it. Yeah. Students of the More. Yes. Let me get you new people followed here. I really do believe it's our way of making physically manifest the knowing that we're connected in the collective unconscious, that we're all one, and the only way we have to do that in our physical realm is things like Periscope and the internet. I do think that's where the inspiration for those things came from, is our need and our knowing that we are instantly connected, and this is a way that our bodies can experience that, what we know is happening elsewhere in the other, the parts that we can't see. Yes, let me get you followed. Law of One. I like that. Whoops. Okay. So, I'm going to go and, Juliana, I'll be putting your package in the mail today or tomorrow. I do believe that. I believe we collectively manifested the internet and Periscope and Twitter and things like that connect us globally because we needed it so much. You're welcome. Yeah, to make conscious what we already know on an unconscious level. Periscope and the internet and global connection makes conscious what we already know intuitively we have deep inside of us. All the love that is here, yeah. all the love that's available worldwide. Yes, thank you. Thanks for coming, and thanks for being here, and for the shares and the follows. And tomorrow is Dao De Jing and Byron Katie discussion. I'm always on. I shoot for 9:30, 10, 10:30 Eastern Time, U.S. Eastern Standard Time. Oh, thank you. CaddyshackDesigns.com, and my name is Michelle Wolf. Across the top of the website are all the tabs for everything that I do. Essential oils, Reiki, Desire Map workshops, all of that. You're very welcome. Thanks for coming by, Henry. And all the other new people, OR Techie and Sabrina, and there were several new people. So, yeah, thanks for coming. The husband. Is it time to go? All right. Thank you, guys. I sure will. Thank you. Have a great day. Much love to you, and blessings on all our heads. They're all saying hi to you, dear.